Hey, it's me again, and today we are gonna discuss about the infamous term or rather trope. And that is Mary Sue, yes that Mary Sue. But before I will tell you about the history of Mary Sue, let me tell you the reason why I made this video. It is because I want to spread awareness in how the term was used, with people using it to demean characters they do not like, even if most of them do not fit the trope. Alright then, let's start the history about the term, and the reason the term has negative connotations. Back in the 70s, long before the internet was invented, there was a fan fiction. Yes, a fan fiction from that time period. There was fan magazines. Usually they often related to news and various type of articles about the subject was based on. However, there are some fan magazines that have fanfics in them. They are made mostly by the subscribers themselves. One fan magazine is none other than Menagerie. In that fan magazine, there was one story that gave birth to the trope that most of you people know about, that is A Trekkie's Tale, in which a few of you may know that I made a fan recreation of it on Flash themes. The video link is right in the corner. Oh yeah, let's continue. Anyways, the story is about a character named Lieutenant Mary Sue, who she was recruited to join the Starfleet. When she is introduced, she become a crew member that everyone likes instantly, with one crew member, Captain Kirk, having a crush on her despite stating that she was 15 and he was an adult. And yeah, I agree that is very creepy. Keep that in mind, it was the 70s, where it is considered somewhat common to have that type of thing. And not only that, she was super talented genius, who manages to save Kirk and Spock from robots, but she also ran the ship so well that she earned a prize. But she suddenly fell ill and died later when she fell ill, with the rest of the Enterprise crew members mourning her passing, with her birthday being a national holiday of the Enterprise. The story was made by Paula Smith, who made the story herself under anonymous author, which was made as a parody of self-insert stories made in that time. But over time, and especially when the internet was born around the mid-90s, the term Mary Sue started spread outside of the Star Trek fandom, and into other mainstream media. And for a time, it was used for ox from fans of the media that they like, but it was later used for characters in official mainstream media that these people deem as Mary Sues by this following criteria, that is, being too overpowered, impossibly perfect, is loved by all except for the people who dislikes them, is either evil or stupid, being skilled and or talented without explanation, being very beautiful to the point where character are charmed, having no personality, and lastly is a author's or creator's pet. It should be noted that characters with no personality or is a author's, creator's pet does not automatically mean that they are a Mary Sue. Also, there are many subtypes like Jerk Sue, Purity Sue, Possession Sue, Villain Sue, Copycat Sue, Parody Sue, and lastly, Marty Stew or rather Gary Stew, which are Mary Sue but male and have somewhat different traits and criteria. And now let's discuss about the reason why the Mary Sue and its subtypes have negative connotations. It because they used it to demean characters they do not like, especially if they have characters that they like have tropes that are often applied with Mary Sues. A good example is Shadow the Hedgehog, who is the ultimate life form who is smart and powerful, plus with a dramatic backstory to boot, yet he's still well liked albeit divisive. Granted, he is one of those examples of smart, powerful, and talented characters done right. Yet, they demean characters that have the three traits that I mentioned, or worse use it to criticize those who do not fit any of the common Mary Sue tropes. The biggest victim of this is none other than Rey from the Star Wars franchise. But Zero, are you a Star Wars fan or not? Yes, I was into it but later lose interest in the franchise with other interests. But I did watch the original and prequel trilogies where I was a kid, and somewhat watched episode 7 after it came out, plus played the Knights of the Old Republic games. With the first one I finished, the other two haven't finished. But I later know that the criticisms of her being a Mary Sue was stupid, since she beat Ben Solo because is he far less powerful than the other villains in the series due him not finishing his training. And in episode 7 he got shot by Chewie, which injured him so much that he got a disadvantage against her, in which resulted in him getting beaten by Ray. Also, she is not overpowered, as she far less skilled and only beat her grandfather via using his power against him, plus she has no role in destroying Starkiller Base. But, how did you know that Rey's not a Mary Sue? Even if you are not into Star Wars nowadays, it because I watched a video from a few months ago from a YouTuber named Anthony Granmiglia. Here is the link to the video, and as a bonus there is another video by Duchess Celestia, who lists top 10 worst Mary Sue tropes, or rather traits, since they have a lot of good points on why the term has used in such a bad way. And lastly, they often harshly criticize the people who make these type of characters manlyocs. As a result, they are cheaping fiction by scaring various writers and artists to do nothing. If they do, they will accidentally make a Mary Sue, which is horrible because not everyone is not good at writing, mainly the younger ones who are getting with their art or writing career, it because of their young minds not being developed as adults, which why a good amount of ocs are often labeled as this. You should know that in order to become a good writer and artist, you should start with not so good things but later improve over time. That's how it works. Telling them to not do it is not good in any way. Before this ends, this is not to attack towards people who demean characters as Mary Seuss. I made this for criticism purposes only. Alright, see you guys next time.